Hi everyone, welcome back. I have another reading for a short story of mine called Avdotya's Doll. Night began to fall as frigid winds howled outside the old wooden walls of the cabin, the windows rattling in their frames. Little Avdotya sat upon the floor, pushing her back against the large brick oven, letting the warmth embrace her, listening to the crackling flames as they fought against the January cold. Still, she trembled. She was afraid. The wind moaned like the dark spirits grandfather often spoke of, and her father and brother had been gone a long time. Avdotya sighed, clutching at the frayed and worn doll that she had kept at her side since she was a baby. "What's the matter, little one?" her grandfather, Ivan, asked as he sat at the table, carving a toy bear from a piece of birchwood. "Papa and Alyosha aren't back yet," Avdotya said in a hushed, small voice. "Don't worry, my Dunyasha. They will be back soon," her mother said, standing beside her at the stovetop, stirring a pot of borscht. "Your mother is right, little one. Everything will be okay. You'll see," her grandfather added as he looked out of the snow-packed window. He muttered something, crossed himself, and went back to work on the wooden bear. Vasilisa Kirsanova bent over, kissed her daughter on the head, and returned to preparing dinner. She tasted the borscht. It needed more salt. She added the salt, then began cutting a sausage into pieces for the soup. Vasilisa smiled. She spent her evenings during the fall mending clothing for the other villagers, saving extra money to buy the meat that would help make this holiday meal extra special. The soup was steaming in the pot. The scent was incredible. Avdotya stood, watching her mother cook. A smile touched the corners of her mouth. She was afraid, yes, but hungry too. Just then, the door swung open, the figure of a teen boy clad in winter garb stepping through. "Alyosha!" Avdotya cried, running to her brother. He knelt down, lifting her up, hugging her tight, saying, "Look out, Dunyasha! Here comes father." A large man with a thick, brown beard stepped inside, ducking under the door carrying a pine tree on his shoulder. "Ah, you found a good one, Nikolai. Well done, my son," grandfather said. "Yes, it's a fine tree," Nikolai said, carrying the tree to a corner, placing it in the base. The tree stood tall, reaching the ceiling. Vasilisa approached her husband, kissing him on the cheek, saying, "Just in time, Nikolai. Dinner is ready." Nikolai laughed, patting his stomach. "Oh, good! Alyosha, take your sister and set the table," he said with cheer. "Yes, father," Alyosha said, taking his sister's hand. "Let's go, Dunyasha." After dinner, the Kirsanovs sat around the table discussing the meal, the men's adventure finding the tree, and how they should decorate it. Ivan was leaning back in his chair, working on the wooden bear, when he looked over at Avdotya sitting in her mother's lap, hugging her doll. "My little Dunyasha, might I see your doll for a moment?" Avdotya's big brown eyes fell on her grandfather. "Go on, Dunyasha," her mother coaxed. Avdotya slipped off her lap and padded over to her grandfather. He lifted her, placing the little girl on his lap. She giggled as he kissed her cheeks. His whiskers always tickled. Ivan turned the doll around in his hands. "I remember when I was your age, Dunyasha, my brothers and sisters saved every spare kopeck until they had enough money to buy a very special toy for me. It was a New Year's gift. It was a little elf in a green tunic with red stitching and a beautiful gold pattern. When they gave it to me, I was climbing the walls with joy. Later that night, a fire broke out in one of the neighbors' homes. They lost everything. Their daughter, the same age as I was standing in the snow, crying. I asked her why. She said her favorite doll burned up in the fire. So, I gave her my new toy. The little girl was your grandmother. We were inseparable after that," he said, his voice far away with the memory of that night. He gave the doll back to Avdotya. "You see, little one, love requires sacrifice. That's why giving gifts is so special. Never be afraid to give. The love you receive is a gift greater than any other. The next morning, Avdotya woke, quietly slipping from the top of the oven where the family slept to stay warm. She ran to the tree, searching for her New Year's gift. Finding it, she tore the wrapping, giggling with joy. She opened a small box. Inside was a little elf in a green tunic, with red stitching and a beautiful gold pattern. Thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please let me know what you think in the comments below if you have any other thoughts. Thank you for tuning in again, and have a wonderful day. See you next time.